This is a View from the Bridge, official podcast of the Belfast Giants for kingdomofthegiants.com. Today's Tuesday, the 13th of January, 2026. My name is Patrick Smith. I'm joined by the Belfast Giants statistician and a man who works hard on the bench when he can, Mr. David Stevie, and one of the very many fabulous voices on Belfast Giants TV. That is, of course, Stevie Boucher. Over the next hour or so, we'll be bringing you all the news and views of the Belfast Giants and the Elite League. At this moment in time, I realize I've not written an agenda, but on this week's show, we are going to talk about how the Belfast Giants lifted 6 points from the week to go from fourth to third to second in the Elite League table with victories over Nottingham, Dundee, and Manchester Storm. We'll be joined by Carsen Twarynski for a bit of a chat later on. I had a chat with him earlier, so we're going to share that with you. And of course, we're looking ahead to the weekend against the Sheffield Steelers, and maybe a bit of a player of the month look at that as well. If you want to get involved, you can send us a message if you're joining us on the chat. Put it on there. Send us messages on X or on Facebook or on all that sort of stuff. You can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on X. You can watch us on all that, on all the download us on the really good podcast providers. Mr. Majimsey, a bit of a muddled introduction from me, but who cares? How are you?
Yeah, no, mate, wasn't really listening, so it's all good at my end.
Nobody does at this point. It all just serves on. Keep well.
Sound mate. Yes. I don't think can I say
anything fun happened this week, David? Anything fun?
Well, Lily got back on the hockey pitch after Santa has been, and she's wearing her new drip, looking fantastic.
Nice pads.
Just playing lights out, mate. She's doing really well. Just proud of her, proud of both my kids, but she's doing really well in this at the minute.
I saw the pads, mate. They look good. Got a couple of videos where we're making some worldly saves at the weekend there. Some saves she'd no right making. The coach was shooting balls at her with a lacrosse stick, like really bombing top corners, and she's just stands in front of them. She doesn't care. So that's the job, mate.
She's doing well. She's just turned 12, and she's training with the under 14s and the under 16s. So she's doing something right. So good luck to her.
Good luck to her. Absolutely.
Davey did take his Christmas tree down, Hannah. I took it down probably maybe Thursday. I wasn't feeling too well.
Thursday?
The lights went off, and it was down, but it just needed dismantled and put away. It's not
we had a real tree and had to drag it out the front, and then some charity around the corner came and just dragged it out of our front yard. It was good. Anyway, Stevie B, how are they?
I'm good, man. Yeah, doing well. Thanks. I'm cold. It's cold.
Yeah, freezing. Will you hat on the day, mate?
Yeah, I'm in the kitchen right beside the French doors, and it's just absolutely freezing. So,
anything fun happened to you this week, mate?
It was my daughter's 3rd birthday on Saturday, so
happy birthday! What's
she
called, Stevie?
Eva. Eva's the
Eva. Happy birthday, Eva!
Thank you. So she was delighted, and she's sort of turning 3. She's at an age where she actually kind of understands what all's going on. So she was just enjoying every minute. It was good.
Mate, enjoy those times. Absolutely. We're getting that sort of thing. That's cool. Yeah, that happened to me this week. Not really. Today I don't know whether I'm coming or going, but I got for me swim. So I'm happy enough getting in the pool for half an hour and getting a good 1,000 meters in the pool just to sort of clear the head and get things on with the day. So yeah, not much happening. It's one of those. Yeah, no, front crawl, mate. Front crawl.
Yeah,
front crawl. No, butterfly. No, friend of mine can do butterfly. She's very good at it, but it's just that's crazy for me. I just don't understand it.
It's one thing, and I want people to comment on this in the comments, just as a little segue, sideways glance. I could jump in a pool now, having not been in a pool. Let's say I haven't been in a pool for a year or two even. I could jump in and I could swim a mile breaststroke and not be out of breath.
Yes.
I can do 2 lengths front crawl and I'm drowning. Just technique. I just need to get lessons.
I did the Great North Swim in Windermere back in June, and that was a mile around Windermere, and I did that front crawl, and that was a hell of a lot of fun, but it does absolutely knacker you. And you get really dizzy as well because your head's turning a lot. I will.
Something I'd love to, and maybe it's something I need to put on a to-do list, is to go and get some swimming lessons, because I can swim confident in the water, but just the technique of front crawl, I don't have time to go fast. I can do front crawl and do a length or 2.
Yeah.
Breaststroke, length or 2, back at front crawl, but I just can't consistently do it length after length after length.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I will say, not to turn this into a swimming podcast, but one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life was a couple of years ago when we took the children to Paris for the Paralympic Games, and we took them to see the swimming that was taking place in Racing 92's indoor. It was all set up there. It was fantastic. And I saw a Chinese man with no arms do 4 lengths of the pool. It was the 200-meter medley. And I realized that, how can you do the 200-meter medley when you have no arms? Because in my head, it was different arm strokes. But when you think about it, it's also different leg strokes. And he had and basically just went, and he was like a rocket. Never seen the likes of it in my life, of a man with no arms swimming 200 meters in front of you. And just, I think he won it as well. Just incredible stuff. But yeah, so if you think you can't do it with you can't do front crawl, mate, try doing it with no arms. In fact, don't do that. You might drown.
Paralympics are amazing, and you're trying
to laugh, David.
We've got the Winter Olympics. We've got the Winter Paralympics coming up soon as well.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to the Winter Olympics, I have to say. I've tried to get tickets to it, actually, because I wanted to go over to it. But, yeah, when am I ever going to get tickets to that? The next Winter Olympics, I will get to that. That's across the Alps. I will get to that in 4 years' time. Mark my words. Anyway, let's talk about hockey, boys. Let's talk about hockey. Belfast Giants undertook 3 games in the last 7 days against the Dundee Stars, the Nottingham Panthers, and the Manchester Storm. 3 wins from those 3 games. The first one was against, of course, the Dundee Stars. Let's hear from the coaches of that game.
Very mixed. Proud of the guys coming back, showing some character there, especially in the third period. Dowsey led the way there. He's our captain, and he did a great job of leading the charge there, getting us back in the game. But again, you can't be giving up 7 goals in a game. We score 4, you should be winning those games. But we have these spells where we give up 1, then there's a second one, then there's a third one. We don't pick ourselves up after we give up a goal. Just a domino effect. And, you can only call so many timeouts, try and calm it down there a little bit. But we make some soft plays. We lose wall battles, soft play at the net front. We don't simplify the game. Just pucks at the blue lines, getting those out and putting them in behind their defense. And and it adds up. Those little things add up to big things, and the big things are in the back of our net several times. So again, I'm proud of the fact that we didn't quit and we came back after them and made a game of it at 5-4. Like I said, Dowsey led the way there, and. But again, we can't be giving up 7 goals a game. They're too good of a team. Too many soft plays and too many good chances for them. Obviously, we had some chances ourselves there on the offensive front, especially in that second period, with some breakaways in that. And obviously, we got some goal scoring there in the third period. But end of the day, that team is too good to give up soft plays like we did tonight. And when we give up a goal, we have to get back after it. And you see too many times this season, we get up the second and third one right away. Now we got to keep picking ourselves up right away and going back after teams, and we got to get ourselves ready. We can't feel sorry for ourselves like anything in life. Some bad things happen, but then you got to pick yourself up. And then obviously we have a huge game here Friday night. It's a playoff game, 0-0. We know what to expect out of Coventry, and we have to get ourselves ready for that.
I liked the first half of our game. Thought we got a little bit cocky. And then we give them a bit of life there with that power play goal. We knew that they were going to push there in the third period. I don't know. I'm not going to comment too much on the game. 2 points is 2 points. We take these 2 points, we move on, and obviously you got to learn a lesson. You got to stay focused for a full 60. But I like the guys there. One that got the 5-4, they buckled down, ended up getting 2 of their own, and that's a clutch, 2 clutch goals there for us to take some of the pressure off.
I love that from the coach. I'm not going to comment too much on the game in the post-game interview. The goals for the Dundee Stars were Dryden Dow, Cameron Kelly, Morton Jurgens, and Dryden Dow with the 4th. For the Belfast Giants, Carter Hamill with his 2nd goal opened the scoring for the Giants and opened the scoring for the game. Bo Hansen, Gabe Bass, Bo Hansen again, Ben Lake, Jordan Kawaguchi, and David Goodwin with his 7 goals. The goalkeepers were Emil Cruz and Alex Gravel. Your referees for the game were Daniel Ferguson and Pavel Hallis. You could sense, Davy, a little bit of frustration in the coach's voice and the way he was going across there, because while it is a 7-4 win, at one point it was 5-4. We did let them into the game in a big way.
At one point it was 5-1.
Yeah,
and it was good night, nurse, and we really should have closed the game out well enough from 5-1. I think Adam's absolutely right, and I guess out of the 3 games of the past 7 days, this will probably be the one we'll focus on the least. getting like that good early start, getting the goals, getting a good lead, you should be able to shut it down. Where Stevie and that talk and Gareth talk on Giants TV about how good a neutral zone team we are, and we should have been able to sort of look after the 2/3 of the ice that we need to look after really well. Try and get those ozone shifts as well, and just keep the puck 200 feet away from Alexis Gravel. Protect your goalie when he's not seeing much rubber. But another W in there. That's 2 W's in a row for he was in there just before Christmas as well and got the win. So good for him. Disappointing that we allowed them back into the game, but you shut it down. Then at the end, we got those. I'm just looking down here. Kawaguchi and Goodwin with the 7th. But good to get goals from both ends of the ice. Bo Hansen coming up with a couple of goals. He's been busy this last sort of week 10 days, and there's another goal from Gabe Bass as well from the blue line. So good to see Carter getting another one before he's gone back to Solway there and netted himself a hat trick at the weekend. So good for him. And look, 2 points is 2 points, I think, at this time of the season, and that's just important for us just to keep on trucking at this stage.
I'm going to come back to that, back to Carter Hamill in just a second. But Stevie, the thing about it is, with 7 goals, 6 different scorers. I was listening to the 3-on-3 podcast earlier today, and John Smith was on it, and I love hearing Smitty talking that. He talks really, really well on the show, and I really enjoyed it. But one of the things that he brought up is the fact that what we have now is when we have scoring all across the lines, and we've scoring in defense. There you have 7 goals, 6 different scorers.
I mean, yeah, you want to see that as much as you can every game, and as you say, Carter Hamill sort of sitting down that 3rd, 4th kind of line, but 2 goals in a couple of weeks for him. London buses for him, gets his first pro goal and then gets another one. I don't know. It was a funny game. Both coaches coming away probably frustrated. Mark Lefebvre, he can't give up a 5-1 lead. It's too much to chase. But then Adam Keefe, he can't let a 5-1 lead disappear the way it did. Thankfully, though, you got your leadership team standing up strong at the end there in that final sort of 5 minutes. Jordan Kawaguchi, he's an alternate captain this year. He gets the 6-4, and then David Goodwin, captain, getting the 7-4 just to sort of settle everything down. And yeah, as you say, spreading the goals around, it's good to see. That kind of carried on over the next couple of games. So 2 points in Dundee, again, we'll take it.
Carter, Davy, and Stevie made a note of it there. That's 2 goals in a matter of a couple of games. When we talk about these guys coming through and developing and being able to do, it shows that that first goal wasn't a fluke. That first goal wasn't just him taking a chance. When you're scoring multiple goals in this league, you deserve to be in this league.
It was a very nicely taken goal, if anything. Better than his goal in the Odyssey, and in that he just created a little bit of room for himself and used the D-man as a bit of a screen and just a little drag back and got the goal. Like, he's done well over the period he's been in. He first admit himself, he's in a development phase. This is a hard league, but he's got opportunities and he's scored points. But most of all, it'll be he's been defensively very responsible. He's been steady, he's been dependable. He's been on. I'm sure he'll be disappointed with a few of the goals that have been conceded when he's on the ice, because his roles would just be on there and not concede. But yeah, delighted for him. He's done really, really well. He should be proud of the work that he's put in over the Christmas period. And I don't know, is that him back to Solway full time? I wouldn't have that kind of information, but gone back to Solway at the weekend there, and he's done really well back in that league. So hopefully that's given him a real boost of confidence as well, and he can go in and be a leader for Solway in the next few months as well.
And Stevie, word for Alexis Gravel, obviously getting the win in this game coming in. He's obviously fighting his position there. We had him on a couple of weeks ago. He spoke really well. But it's like, we look at, we'll talk about the other games, talk about Jackson, but Alexis coming into this game and getting the win.
Yeah, good for him, good for his confidence. I liked when we spoke to him, like, he really did wear his heart in his sleeve. And I think Davey said, seeing that in behind the scenes as well, whenever he got that win, just how much it meant to him, how delighted he was as well. So then again, another win for him. That's what you want. You want your goaltenders just to kind of try and notch up as many wins as they can. And when, you think Jackson Whistle's maybe the 1A and Gravel's the 1B this year, he's done his job. He's come in, he's got the win, probably conceded maybe a few more than he would like to, but sometimes you just can't stop everything. And a couple got past him, but a win will definitely boost his confidence, and that's what you want. You want 2 confident goaltenders. And of course, Dicko's in that room as well. Let's not forget him.
7-4 win for your Belfast Giants against the Dundee Stars. We'll move on from that. The highlights in this, extended highlights. available in 4K from our friends at Dundee Stars TV. We move on to the game that I'll probably enjoy talking about the most this week, which is the 4-1 win over the Nottingham Panthers. Before we get to that, let's hear the post games.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a big weekend for us. We've been on the road for a bit here, and we knew coming home to play against that team, we had to be at our best. And I think everybody was from Jackson all the way out. Everyone did their job all the way to the end of the game, and it was a good, solid effort from everybody. Yeah, I think everyone was bought in physically. I think for the most part, 5-on-5 and even 5-on-4, we're making key blocks, getting good clears. So it was the difference in it. It would have been nice to get a power play goal. We had some looks. But they're good too. They're a very good team. But our kill, I think, did pull us through, and then I think we got a goal at the end of our kill on one of them. So it was a big night for special teams in that respect. Even though our power play, and we had good possession, but we just couldn't score. But like I said, the kill was the best for us.
No, I didn't think we deserved more. I thought Belfast was the better team tonight. In saying that, I thought we were starting to come in the second period there when it was 1-0. We made a little bit of a mistake there in the corner, let them walk out a little bit too easy, and they get an easy second one. It kind of stuns us a little bit. Third one out of our control. It takes a bad hop off the glass. Nothing you can do about that. But no, I just thought, for the most part, Belfast, credit to them. I thought they were physical. I thought they were gapped up all night. They didn't give us a lot of time and space out there. They kind of slowed our transition down. And you know what? I thought they executed a lot better. I thought, when we did get pucks in behind, got pucks on our stick in the slot. I mean, there must have been 5-6 times where we just fumbled pucks. We fumbled one on a breakaway, and I think just one of those nights. But yeah, no, I think certainly Belfast was the better team tonight, and they got their 2 points.
Shout out to Karen Lynch, who, as we start talking about Nottingham Panthers getting beat, sends me a message on WhatsApp just saying, "You." It was a 4-1 win for your Belfast Giants. The score was opened by Ryan Smith. Reid Irwin made it 2-0 in the second period. Marcus Ericsson made it 3-0 in the second period. Nottingham Panthers had a little bit of hope when Jordan Kelsall made it 3-1, but that was extinguished within 30 seconds or more by Ryan Smith scoring an empty netter. Your goalkeepers were Jackson Whistle and Kevin Carr, and your referees Randy Dalton and Vitas Lukasvicius. Stevie, I'll start with you on this one. This, I think, was probably the best 60 minutes of hockey I've seen for the Belfast Giants this season.
Yeah, I think you're right, because obviously it's against an excellent opposition in the Panthers, who are sitting top. And it just felt like they were in control the whole time. I don't know. I never really felt like the Panthers had any real ascendancy. The ice was sort of tilted in our favor, and they scored 10 minutes into the game. That's good early kind of start. They could have had another one just after that. Ben Lake had a chance. The Reid Irwin goal, Danny Stewart said it was lucky. I don't know. I thought it was quite a good goal. I thought it was a really good team goal. Played well. I think Marty on commentary said the Panthers were chasing shadows because the Giants were just passing the puck around so well. So I don't know what your take on that one is, but I do like Danny Stewart's realism. He did say, no, we didn't deserve more. The Giants were the better team.
I don't think it was a lucky goal at all, Davey.
No, I'm not sure if Danny's completely accurate on that. He's maybe thinking about something else in the game, because I think it was well worked down. Maybe there's a little bobble or something, but a bit of puck luck never goes awry. I think that they use a Neil Russell-ism. We've got the foot on the throat early here, and we just never let up. And you talk about wanting that 60-minute performance, and the guys went the whole way. We talked about, Danny Stewart mentions it in his interview there, about layering up and making it difficult for them through the neutral zone, difficult for them to transition and get shots away. But when it did, we blocked over 20 shots. I think the XG in the game's 4 point something to 1 point something. So it's the right result. I think with 24 grade A chances to their 7. So, we created a lot offensively. We were mean-spirited defensively. I thought Jackson Whistle had another great game between the pipes. Just an all-round, our 3 D pairings done well. We took some penalties we probably wouldn't want it to, but, the kill got it done on the night. And, really, when the team at the top of the league comes into your barn, this is the first time Nottingham have been to us this season.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. We've had a couple of unfortunate visits there where we've been short benched and stuff, and things haven't went well. That's I think is the show called statement of intent.
Yep.
Big 6 point week. Don't want to We talked last week about not getting old Scotty Bowman after Fedorov's retirement last night. I seen Scotty
Brilliant
Bowman
last
mentioned, and we'll talk about, I know Mike Babcock said a lot, but I think it was a Scotty Bowmanism. It might have came from someone else as well about, not getting too high with the highs and too lows with the low. Don't get too upset about the points that were dropped over Christmas, and don't get too high about this. This is us at 27 games in a 54-game season. We're halfway there, but hey, we're living on a prayer. Let's go, boys. It's one of those. It was a really, really good, solid 60-minute win.
A quick aside, that Fedorov retirement last night of his number was absolutely superb, especially like paying tribute to the Russian Five. Talk about Stevie Yzerman and what he learned from Stevie Yzerman and how the Detroit Red Wings are in good hands. If you got a chance, even if you're not a Detroit fan like myself and Mr. Majimsky, who do you support, Stevie? Oh, of course, I can see it there. The Boston Bruins. Yeah, but I do recommend you go and have a look at the speech that Fedorov made last night. I thought it was absolutely belter.
Even just the little details of the equipment manager getting all the guys' boots and like taping them up white so they look like the old Fedorov white Nikes. Yeah. But like the attention to detail on the item coming out in the Corvette, or Darren McCarty being there. It was lovely to see the old faces, Konstantinov and obviously his family and the Illiches were there. And it's an organization that I was watching the Wings before there was hockey in Belfast to watch, so it's a club that I've watched a lot of my life, but and they mean quite a lot to me, and it's been disappointing over the last lot of years. It used to be, the Wings were on however many years it was in the playoffs. They held a record that'll probably never be broken now in this sort of financial parity era. But it's looking good for maybe a trip back to the playoffs this season. And I don't think we're cup ready. I don't think we're anywhere near cup ready, but we're playoff ready.
Kane's looking good. The Kane's looking good. Larkin's looking good. There's a lot of good goals going in there. Obviously, Kane getting his 500th there during the week. But anyway, this is a Belfast Giants podcast this month. But I do recommend going to watch that Fedorov number retirement. Stevie, one thing as well about this game is I think we were more physical than I've seen us in the last little while.
That just shows they're up for it. I think the boys just were up for the fight. They were up for making that statement. As you say, you called the show statement of intent. It's a statement win. That highlight there, Kevin Carr, he likes to take some risks, doesn't he? He does well, to be fair, to recover on the save. But man, I don't think
there's many options there. When was it Ben Lake coming in on him? Obviously, yeah. Ben Lake is not, when he comes in like this, Ben Lake cannot see very much of the goal. No. So an early shot is maybe not going to get it. So therefore Carr can get it this, but it's like he gets his glove down. I think Ben Lake will be disappointed not to that. But
you can see there's a defenseman at that point, so you're right. Like probably that left hand side for Ben Lake as he's attacking, that was covered off by the defenseman, and then Carr was to the right. So yeah.
In saying that, to give Ben Lake his due on the second goal which was scored by Reid Irwin. Who he sends I can't remember who the D man was for Nottingham, but he sends him to the absolute shops and with the turn on the boards.
Yeah, it was great to see. I like the title statement of intent. I felt like this was a statement win. I feel like people were writing the Giants off quite early on this year, and I kind of kept thinking, do you know what? Let's just bide our time. Let's just wait and see. Giants will be there or thereabouts by the end of the season, guaranteed. And I think now some people's going to have to take the Giants a bit more seriously than they have been.
There's the moves there, just like got a body position on him, sends him. Figure out who that was, by the way. Somebody will probably tell us in the chat who that was with regards to. Was it Didrik Hedbrandt? Yeah, Didrik Hedbrandt is just absolutely done him with body position on the boards. Sees Reid Irwin opener, and we'll come to Reid Irwin later in the show, but I think he's playing really well. One of the things, Davey, I'm actually going to go back to your comment there from Michael Shaw, which is very fair. Rand Smith, a player not talked enough about. Yeah,
he's been really, really good. He takes his shares of face-offs. He's pretty good numbers in the dot. He's been unlucky on a number of occasions as well, not to score more goals than he has, but he's a very, very reliable member of the squad. Early in the season, he was just feeling his way into Belfast. None of these guys are coming over to Europe or whatever for the first time. He's a young guy, and he was feeling his way in the team. But I think Smitty's really, really good at this stage of the season, and he's a real asset on that line of his, and very dependable, very dependable. So, I agree. Who was it said that? Brad Smith, Michael Shaw. Michael's absolutely right. He's we talked about Jake Cadet and all these guys now have their roles in the team, and then Smitty's obviously got that role in the team. And he's playing it really, really well.
Quick thing about this goal that's being shown here, Kevin Carr, probably. I know that.
I'd say that's probably. Sorry to break across it. That's probably the one Danny Stewart's talking about, to be honest, rather than the Reed Irwin one.
Rather than the Reed Irwin.
Yeah.
Well, yes, that is a lucky goal, but I think that in the commentary, Marty was absolutely right. It's probably a puck that Kevin Carr does not have to play. It's coming right round on the. It's not on the boards. It's coming along round on the glass. He purposely brings it down and plays it back along the glass. Now, that's not taken away from the fact that it is a lucky bounce off it, but decision making to sort of take that out when he probably didn't need to.
No, I think it's fine. Actually, I'll see if we can just wheel back to here. If he doesn't play this, let's see when the puck
He's coming down the right.
He doesn't play that. It's going right to Ryan Smith. And Ericsson's
right
in the slot they're on 2-on-1 there. So it's probably quite early recognition. It's just a bad bounce. One of these things, just situational awareness. Carr's looking like that, so he can see what's coming down the two wings. Ericsson's alone in the slot. Does he have to play it? And he probably doesn't have to play it, but he makes an early decision to do it because it's just going right. Smith's retaining that puck. We've probably got a D-man coming in here to the point as well, and then we're overloaded and it's going to be a goal scoring opportunity. So he probably at that, I'll just stop a puck behind the net. All his intention is to stop a puck and let the D-man that's wheeling, he'll come in the shot here in a second. This D-man there, just to wheel around and take the puck, control breakout or whatever. Because Ryan Smith probably, if Carr stops this and the D-man just here comes round, Smith probably stops and goes for a change. Yep. So it's unlucky, but I think the goalie has to.
Marcus Ericsson will not get an easier goal in his career the way it bounced out in front of the net there and battered it into the empty net. Nottingham pulled one back against with Jordan Kelsall, but then it was Ryan Smith from his own zone, Stevie, that sealed the deal and put it into the empty net.
Yeah, great finish from Smith from distance as well. He tried it again the next night and just hit the side of the post, literally just the side of the post. But no, fair play. Ryan Smith not talked about enough. I think he has settled in, as Davey says. He's finding his feet in the Belfast ice, and I think we're going to see more from him as we go down the stretch here. So great win, 4-1. Delighted with Saturday night.
Absolutely. The highlights from our very good friends at Belfast Giants TV. Let's move on from that. Having beaten the league leaders, we took on a team who gave us a bit of a battle in Altrincham just last week. The Manchester Storm coming back in to the SSE Arena for the final time in the regular season, and it was another 4-1 win for the Belfast Giants. Let's get the post games from that.
Yeah, I think that's probably exactly it. I thought everybody played a part. And I thought it was two really complete performances. Last night, I thought we were really good, and at no point did I think we were going to lose that game. Tonight, I thought we were really good as well. I thought Jackson made some timely saves there, and I thought that their goalie had a really good night. Otherwise, I would have probably felt the same as I felt last night. But the fact that it was at 2-1 kind of kept the tensions high. I thought our guys, though, didn't get frustrated by that, continued to work away, and I thought that was a very big goal there by Jake in the third period to give us a little bit of breathing room. But I thought for full 60, our guys were relentless, making it very difficult for them to enter our zone with possession, and two very good performances by this group here at home. And we're going to enjoy it now. I told them, enjoy this weekend. But we have to humble ourselves and then get some rest and get ready to get back to work next weekend. That's what it's about. So a big weekend. I like the position we're in, but there's a lot of hockey left to be played.
Yeah, I thought Belfast was excellent tonight. They came with speed. They supported the play. They were connected. But again, we were able to hold them off there for a bit. I thought DeRitter was excellent in net. I think ultimately we're looking a little bit tired right now. We've been in a lot of emotional tight games in the last few weeks, and just like you said, beating some of the top clubs. But I think it kind of caught up to us a bit tonight. But a little bit sluggish first, a little bit better in the second. But I did like our third period. I thought we had an excellent pushback. We had some good opportunities that we just didn't bury, and that's the name of the game, gaining inches. So, but there was some things to like. I thought our Brits were excellent today. Obviously, Reece Francis, great goal. Brad Genion, makes a big hit, and then Belfast guys sticking up for each other. Obviously, that's great. That's what hockey's all about. Brad answers the bell. Great little tilt there. Theo Malone, young kid playing a lot of minutes. Zach Sullivan just coming back from a concussion, kind of easing him back, but playing important minutes. So hats off to them. And yeah, I thought there was a few guys that maybe will be disappointed with their performance tonight, but that's when you play teams like this, you're going to need everybody going, and I think that was the final determining factor.
Goal scorers for the Belfast Giants were Mike Lee, Bo Hansen, Jack Garrett, and Ben Lake. You can see Garrett back in the lineup. And Ray Francis was the only scorer for the Manchester Storm. Goalkeepers were Drew DeRitter and Jackson Whistle. And your referees on the night were, again, Andy Dalton and Vitas Lukasevicius. Manchester are a tough team to play against, Davey. They work so hard as a team and work so hard as a unit. Giants, on the back of the great performance the night before against the Nottingham Panthers, had another tough battle here and came through it well.
They're a slightly different team, home v away. We've done the old Italian army jokes 100 times. They don't travel as well as the night, but to go for another Neil Russell-ism, you start on time, right? And we started on time and came out first couple of shifts really good. Got the go ahead goal. Unfortunately, they were able to peg us back, and the Ritter for me held the Giants at bay for a long time. I think across the course of the game, Storm didn't create that many, really good grade A chances. Smaller than a handful. Jackson made a couple of really, really good saves at crucial times as well. And then once we got ahead, I think we pressed on really well and went on to, I'm not going to say a comfortable win, but again, second night in a row, more like the 60 minutes that you want from your team. So really pleasing weekend with another big weekend coming up, and some nice line combos and all starting to come. We talked about 10-12-64 last week, 63-91, 29. Sorry, went off my head. Going really well together. There's the Carsen Twarynski. Maybe let Stevie have a chat about this.
Genion did well. It was a big hit. I don't know how much of it he really meant, though. It looked a little bit like he sort of lost an edge. But yeah, big hit. And then Gabe Bass had a little go at him initially, and then credit Twarynski for coming in, standing up for his teammate. Although I do think Genion got the better of the fight. He gets that shirt early, gets a couple of punches. That's a good first hit there. That kind of puts Twarynski on the back foot, and then he can get the shirt over, and it's kind of all she wrote at that point. But Genion, big guy, and there was a point where there was Genion and Earhart on the D partnership for the Storm, and I don't know what the combined height of those two is. It was huge. But yeah, good night for the Giants. You heard Adam say there, night before was pretty much a full 60. This felt like a full 60 as well, bar that one sort of slight error which let Reece Francis get away and get that 1-on-1 against Jackson Whistle. I thought the Giants looked really in control of this game as well. So that's 2 nights in a row against 2 good opposition. 2 nights where the Giants were really in control for the whole time.
I found it the Bradley Johnny, the thing in the corner, I think, was just, like I said, I think they just lost an edge. And we'll hear from Carsen Twarynski shortly, but one of those things, that fight as well, which is the referees called nothing. Hard to know what to call them. Maybe I'll leave it to you, Davey. But the fact that it's making them pay for it, making them taking action into their own hands, the way that hockey maybe isn't as much these days as it used to be.
Yeah, apart from we obviously then take a minor penalty for abuse of official at the time. Obviously, something was said by Gabe, very unlike him. I think that Matty Carton's got it down here. Fads loses an edge as he goes into the boards, but I think the contact's avoidable. But it's one of those. I'm finishing my check no matter what here. There's been big incidents in the league in the last number of years where people are just trying to put contact on someone and it hasn't worked out right. And I think this is one of them as well, where it probably looks, I'm glad McFadden was able to get back up pretty quickly. And I'm glad Carsen went and sorted that out as well. I'm disappointed that we came away with a PK instead of potentially a power play, but certainly even-handed. But that's how it goes. You can't say anything anymore.
I find it funny. some of the comments that came, like keeping a half an eye on social media during the game, and this happens, and it's the same thing happened, I believe, like when you looked at what happened in Sheffield, sorry, in Fife, between Fife and Sheffield, and you saw Milan Lucic take on, I think it was Reece Kelly, but and people come forward saying, "Oh, you're beating up a young Brit." Reece Kelly's 24, Bradley Jenkins 27. These are not children. These are adults being placed in a hockey game. And I remember a comment a long time ago on the Andy Hayward on the Cat's Whiskers, saying that there's always this sort of disrespect for the British players, as in, like, if they go up against an import in some sort of physical fight or sort of physical altercation, that somehow the British lad or the young British kid is being picked on. This is a game where all the lads out there know exactly what they have to face, should they have to face it. Bradley Jenkins knew that. He did really well. Reece Kelly knew that. He did really well as well. That's just part of the game. If it ends up being a young Brit, or in inverted commas, young Brit, in a fight against an import, that's just what it is. Play on. Get on with it. I thought that, and to give them their due, you look at Race Francis, again, another British player in that Manchester Storm side. He has wheels. He gets away, Stevie, and he takes that goal really well.
He did. He put it so far in front of him initially, but as you say, he had the wheels to chase it down, but then he chased it down and he timed his forehand to backhand just so well. Jackson had to sort of stay where he was to react, and Jackson goes to his left, but the quick hands just to get forehand, backhand, slot it in that little gap between the skate and the post. It was a great goal. Like Francis, he was sort of that fourth line. They kind of didn't quite have a full fourth line, but they had two extra players. But we said it, I think Michael and I chatting were saying, you're not expecting them necessarily to get goals, but I mean, he took his goal so well, and future might be bright for him. Storm have a couple of good Brits, and I was really impressed with that goal from Reece Francis. After that, though, it was, as I said, pretty much all the Giants after that.
I was chatting to one of Manchester Storm's young British lads in the pub last night, Josh Crawley. He was there, but he's out with an injury in a minute, hoping to get back this week. But you look at Reece Francis, he's played NCAA 3. He spent a lot of time in the Ontario Hockey Academy and then NAHL, a bit of time in Norway, and then went through NCAA 3 with Lebanon Valley College, Western New England University, and Salem State University before coming back into the Elite League. So the guy's got the potential. He's 6'6", and he's got the potential to do great things in this league. Coming back to the Belfast Giants, though, it's interesting that what Cam Critchlow had to say with regards to how we approach this game, and how, again, they pushed back. I think I spoke to you about this, Davey, after the game in Manchester. As soon as they started to put the physical nature into the game, we started having to respond, and they sort of got in Manchester, certainly, they started to get a bit of the upper hand before we fought back in. I felt in this game, Manchester came out straight from the start with a physical game.
Yeah, listen, they're built for the storm shelter. They're built for the smaller ice, where we talked about it last week. Life comes at you faster. And when they ramp the physicality up, you got to be ready for it, because the hits are coming so fast. Their physicality doesn't translate just quite as well on the Olympic pad, and if you've got speedy wingers, if you've got big centermen, they're not as easily enticed into a physical battle. There's plenty of room out there. So, yeah, I think that team is so hard to beat in Manchester, because they're built. Storm always build a team to be as dominant as possible at home and get as much as they can on the road, which I suppose is what every team wants to be. But they just have that. They use that. There's the little stick flick there that people have been talking about.
I've got that.
They use it to their advantage, and I'm fair play to them. But I think that we're a team there with a lot of size in it as well. That, you talk about team toughness and stuff at times. Sorry, I'm going to have to go blow my nose, lads. It sounds like a dime with the flu here, but we've got a bit of team toughness about us, so there's no worries there.
We just saw it there very up. I'll let you describe this, Stevie. Let's have a quick look at this little bit of skill from Mike Lee.
It's just so good.
It's such
a big reaction in the crowd, and if your eyes were following the puck a little bit too much, you missed it. But yeah, stick bounces off. Scott Conway's stick and up into the air. Mike Lee just catches it and doesn't skip a beat. It was delightful.
Lovely little move. Boing, boing, there we go. Off we go. And away you get.
He's like, oh
Listen.
yeah, I need this, don't I?
Another like 6 points. Let's drop that out. 6 point. He'll be back in a minute, I'm sure. 6 points for the Belfast Giants from the week. It's put us from 4th to 3rd to 2nd. And we'll talk about the Sheffield Steelers later on, but it's put us in the box seat with regards to chasing down the Nottingham Panthers, who do not play in the Elite League this weekend, Stevie.
Yeah, and we have 2 games in hand.
We'll be playing those 2 this weekend.
Yep, and we're 2 points behind. 3 points.
3
points behind. So, but 2 wins puts us a point ahead. So, massive weekend here, as you say. Panthers aren't playing. They're going to be sitting watching what's going on. It's a huge chance for the Giants to hopefully leapfrog them at the summit. Panthers have been a good team this year. Definitely value for money to be up there. But as I say, Giants, I think people have maybe written them off a bit too early this year, starting to take them a bit more seriously. And this, I mean, licking my lips for this weekend, like Steelers twice in Belfast in the SSE. I'm sure we'll probably sell out the crowd. It should be a great weekend of hockey. Hopefully it goes the Giants' way.
I'm going to come back to it, David. I'm going to come back to it later on. We'll talk about it in your favorite part of the show when we look ahead. But I'll talk about momentum and things like that. What we're going to do now is we're going to hear from the newest signing for the Belfast Giants. I had a chat earlier with him. We'll share it with you. He was involved in that fight, and he's been doing really well since he's come in. That is, of course, Carsen Twarynski. Carsen, great week for the Belfast Giants. 6 points from the 3 games that we played. Just before we get into yourself and talk about you coming to Belfast, give us your reflection on this last week.
Yeah, it's been big. They've all been big games. 2 points every game is what you go for in this league, and they all contribute to the outcome at the end of the season, which is a lot different than every other league in the world for that matter. It's not like that. It's not placed out that style. So it was a big week. Nottingham, having them come in, that's obviously the team in first right now, to be able to play them how we did and to prove ourselves and prove to them and the rest of the league that what we're fully capable of when we're playing at our best, I think is a very important thing to do, not only for our confidence but for the respect that we can gain from other teams moving forward. And I think it's good to just have that confidence going into this weekend with another 2 big games against Sheffield.
It'd be remiss to not mention Sunday against the Manchester Storm, when you felt you had to take a few things into your own hands after that hit in the corner.
Yeah, it wasn't a great fight by any means, I'll say that. But I think that it had to be done a little bit, and the games that we've been playing lately have been a little bit more rough, and I think that's definitely the style of hockey out here as well. It's more of a North American style of game, and there's some big guys out here, guys that are physical, and sometimes that's what you have to do, regardless of the situation you're in or who is involved.
Does that suit your game? Because you obviously, this is your second foray into Europe. You were with Vienna, and then obviously earlier this season you were in Czechia before coming to us. The difference between playing like in Vienna in the ICTL or in Czech, and then coming here and having a more North American style, does that suit your game?
Yeah, I would say so. I've always been someone who's pretty north and south, hardworking, physical, more of a simple player by that standard, and I think this style definitely suits it. Europe in general, I don't think anywhere I go could really affect my style of game. I would say it might be a little bit more difficult on bigger ice sometimes, when you're trying to be physical and you have to take that extra 2 or 3 strides, and if teams know how to play properly and set picks or whatever their systems may be, it can be harder to be more physical. But I'm thankful that the type of style and role that I play and that I played growing up is something that I can transfer pretty much anywhere, and it's not something that is easy to lose by any means.
It's something that really fascinates me, is the fact that you having that talent, having that ability, and having the opportunity to go and take that and travel the world, I suppose. To basically travel North America as you did with the likes of, and we'll come to your career in North America in a second, but having the opportunity to take this talent and come to Belfast, go to Pardubice, go to Vienna and live in Vienna for a bit. It's a lucky thing to be able to do.
Yeah, It definitely is, and I am certainly grateful for that. You know, it's been a long career so far, as in a lot of different aspects, and you know, I think when I went to Vienna the first time, I don't think I was fully ready to go to Europe. I still wanted to stay in North America, and I think now that's changed in my mind a lot, and I'm definitely ready to make that move over here and to experience it fully, and, you know, kind of cut my ties and whatever dreams I would have still had left of trying to get back up to the NHL or being somewhere in the American League. I've gotten over those dreams, and I've cut those ties, and, you know, we're just ready to commit over here for the remainder of however long I play, whether that's a couple years, whether it's 6-7 years. I don't know that at this point, but
yeah, that's interesting. So I think that's something that a lot of guys, when they come to Europe, it is a case of, you know, you're fighting for that spot in the NHL, and you reached that. You got there with Philadelphia, and you've had that opportunity and you've had that experience. But fighting through the A to try to get up takes its toll, and at some point, I guess, from what you're saying, you just have to basically accept that, you know, you need to find a different path.
Yeah, it definitely takes its toll, and it's a tough league to get up through and to be in for a long time. You know, there's some guys that have made very good careers out of being in the minors. There's guys that have been up and down. There's guys that don't ever get there, and it is definitely a difficult path. And I think I could probably vouch for a lot of the guys that do come to Europe from North America. There's just a point that comes in your career where you really notice it's, you know, your time's kind of up there for whatever reason that may be, whether you think it is or whether you still think you got a couple years there. In your head, it's ultimately not your decision, and it's not up to you. And at some point, it's pretty obvious that, you know, your time's up there, and it's time to go experience the best of what's to offer over here.
Is that difficult to accept? Is that difficult, or do you just basically just go, you know what, that's just what it is?
For me personally, it was difficult to accept the first time. Difficult in the sense where I didn't want to believe it at that time or see it.
Yeah.
Personally, and that's why I ended up, you know, going back from Vienna. Mentally, I wasn't all there for that team, and I thought that I still had that chance in those couple years left in the American League, and tried to give it a shot, and realized that, you know, that was my telling of it's time to go overseas and live that life and enjoy those experiences. And since being over here, I've obviously experienced a couple different leagues now, and I think a lot of North Americans don't truly understand the competitiveness and the level of hockey that is out here. You know, there's so much focus on the American League and the NHL, and you might hear a little bit about the KHL or Switzerland.
Yeah.
But the Czech leagues, even the Austrian league for a matter, and, you know, Germany, Finland, Sweden, even this league, like it's a good hockey league. There's a lot of good players here. It's very competitive. And I don't think that you see that a lot from North America when you're not focused on coming over here ready to indulge in it.
Just give it a bit of focus on your career in North America. Obviously, you mentioned it there, you know, the amount of time you spent in the A. But you did have that opportunity with the Philadelphia Flyers to reach that dream and play in the show. Give us sort of an insight to your debut and how you get there, and what your thoughts are, because you're playing on a side with like Claude Giroux and Jakub Voracek, and, you know, really great hockey players in the NHL, and you've been called up to play for Philadelphia. What does that feel like, and, you know, how exciting is that?
It was definitely a surreal moment. I remember that camp. It was me and a teammate of mine, Connor Bunneman. We were definitely underdogs to make that team. I don't think anyone had us on their bingo cards coming into that camp. You know, we both proved a lot of people wrong. We went in, we had a good camp. We were playing the roles that we needed to play. We felt good. The team alone there was a very accepting and involving team. All the guys there were great, so it made it super easy to feel like, even though at a certain point it's like, well, I'm really not supposed to be the guy to make this team this year. It didn't feel that way in the locker room. It felt like I was, a part of the team as I'm trying out. And yeah, we had our first game in Prague actually as part of the Global Series against Chicago.
Yeah.
So that in itself was still a stressful time, as fun as it was, because we had 3 forwards there, 2 were making the team, and a defenseman that was also on the bubble. So 2 guys are going to make it and 2 guys are going to get cut. And, Joel Farabee and Philip Myers were the guys that didn't make the roster that year. They've obviously been doing one great job right now. They've had great careers. Joel's in Calgary now doing great.
Yeah.
Philip's in Toronto. And it's
Crazy.
just everyone's career can go different directions from that.
It's
And
crazy that, isn't it? How you can get cut like that, but then your career can go in that direction.
yeah, and Connor's in Czech. He's been in Europe for a
Yes,
couple.
yeah.
I'm over here now, so it's crazy how those things can happen. But it was definitely a cool experience to play the first game over in Europe and to have that trip that we did. We were over there for a couple of weeks with an exhibition game, and my parents were able to come out for the first game. So it was definitely a one of one, I guess I could say. It was a special experience.
You said Connor Bunham's obviously playing out in Mountfield right now. He's been there for a couple of years. You went over to Czechia to play with Pardubice, a team that we know from ourselves, having played them in the Champions Hockey League a few seasons ago. But tell us how the opportunity comes about for you that we now see you in Belfast.
Yeah, actually, this off season, before any decisions were made, Adam did reach out to me briefly to see what my thoughts were on it. And I was open to the discussion of coming to Belfast and hearing what he had to offer. And there was an opportunity that came up in Pardubice, and I thought it was a good opportunity for myself personally. So I took it and, tried to do the best that I could there and make the most out of it. That didn't end up working out as planned and kind of fell through in the last couple of months. And, thankfully and fortunate enough, Adam and Steve reached out to my agent and said that they were still interested in me and there's space for me to come in and help the team out. So it was good timing in that sense. I think there was a spot that opened up and I was looking for a new home. And yeah, I'm very happy to be where I am at right now with this team, and everything's been great since I've got here. You can tell that the culture is a winning culture. You can tell that the team's great. The organization is first class. Facilities are great. Steve's been nothing but hospitable to me and bringing me in and helping me with whatever I need. So it's been a great experience so far, and I'm happy to be here. And I look forward to seeing what we can accomplish for the rest of the year here. We got a lot of important games to make matter.
Fantastic. It is. I think it is, like, hockey's a small world, and what are your experiences of knowledge of the Elite League? Any guys who had played here? Did you reach out to anybody as a bit of a bit of information to make sure you were making the right choice?
Yeah, I actually don't know. I didn't know personally any guys on this team. A couple names are familiar. Like, I played against Jordan when we were in spring hockey way younger. I remember Gabe from minor hockey being in Red Deer.
Yeah.
Whistle was obviously he was with Kelowna the year before.
Kelowna, yeah.
So I didn't play with him there, but I knew of him and played with a lot of guys that did know him. And then there's actually quite a few guys around the league that are from Calgary that I've skated with in off seasons or that I would have played with in minor hockey and spring hockey growing up. So I sent a few of them a message, but no, I didn't have much communication with them all. I was pretty happy and satisfied with where I was going in the UK. I definitely knew this was a good spot, and I've done my research on the place. Adam sent me his videos on Belfast and the rink and what to expect here and the lifestyle. So I didn't need many questions answered from anyone else on the spot that I was going.
And just lastly, how are you settling? And then, you've come in Belfast, new city, obviously winter time, so Belfast isn't the most bright, and it's usually quite dark and rainy at this time of year in many places. But how are you settling into the city?
Yeah, settling in good. And the weather, I've been pleasantly surprised. I've been told it's supposed to be very rainy and dark. We've had some pretty sunny days. Like today was a nice day out. It didn't rain a ton. And we were in Abbotsford, my wife and I, last year, and that's a place that's also very rainy and gloomy all year. So it's not necessarily anything different from that. The air might be a little bit more fresh being right on the water. But we're settling good. The apartment's great. It's nice to be close to the rink. Downtown, we've walked around a little bit. It's a clean spot. It's very friendly and inviting, and upbeat. The people are great. I love the language and the slang that they use here. I love the accent, sense of humor, the personality. It's all a little bit different from back home, and it's definitely a breath of fresh air, and it's a lot of fun. So things have been good so far.
Well, listen, Carsen, we hope you enjoy your time here. We hope you enjoy your time with the Belfast Giants. And as you say, I hope we can achieve great things as an organization, as a team in the second half of this season. Good to have you here.
Likewise. Thank you, Patrick.
Big thanks, of course, to Carsen Twarynski for his time. I'll come back to that in a second. He's come in just in the last couple of weeks, Davy. 6 points from 10 games. Obviously a big unit. Plays well. Got a good pedigree behind him. And so far, so good.
Yeah, fitted in well. Big body just came in around Christmas time there, didn't he? And, changed up with Slovakia. Yeah, he was in.
Czechia.
Czechia. So, come from the Czech Republic over to the Northern Ireland.
RBC.
Oh, yeah. We played them a couple of years ago. I was listening to the interview, actually, to be fair. But yeah, he's done really well. He brings a lot of size there. He's bobbled about different lines. Whenever Jake Cadet was out, he was playing with Gazer and Jordan. So, he's adaptable. He's had an opportunity, obviously, in the last sort of 3 weeks to get his feet under the table, and can't say anything but good things about him right now.
Stevie, I heard you on comms and on co-comms with our friend Michael Owens, and Michael's obviously a big fan of Carsen and his approach to the game.
Yeah, and as he says, he's kind of come here and found a similar style to what he's used to, that North American style. So yeah, talking about those young Brits, can they handle themselves? He obviously can handle himself, but I mean, what a time to come into the team. His first 2 games were a 7-1 win and a 9-0 win just before Christmas. So no, he looks a good body. I like his his honesty as well. Just talking reminded me of that chat that we had with Alexei Gravel. And it just shows, like you said, the sliding doors kind of moments that can happen in your hockey career. And I do think there is in North America sometimes a little bit more of it's you go big or you go home. And so if you don't make the NFL, if you don't make the NHL, if you don't make the, MLB or whatever it is, that's kind of your career's done. You just go get a normal job. And I don't think there's a realization sometimes that there's a lot of ways you can make a hockey career work around a lot of the rest of the world. And he thankfully has had his eyes opened up to that. And he's come over here and, hopefully it lasts a lengthy time for him. And hopefully, maybe he can enjoy some success with Belfast.
I did find his show about how much of a grind it was to sort of not give up in your dream. Because you're playing hockey for a living. You're able to take this talent and travel the world, and he's landed here. He's played in Vienna. He's played in the Czech Republic. You can't say but the idea of reaching the NHL is something what at some point I guess a lot of these guys have to basically say, you know what, ain't happening. I got to find a different path. I got to find a different way and something that I enjoy. And you see it so often, Davey, from guys who've come in who've maybe had that path, maybe got to the A, trying to get there, and they've just went, you know what? I'll give Belfast a shot and see where we go from there. And sometimes you win trophies, and sometimes you maybe start in Belfast, you end up playing in the DEL like Sammy Rupp.
That was just who I was thinking of there when you were sort of teeing that question up. Steve Thornton will sell Belfast to guys as a stepping stone to Europe or back across to North America, but mainly Europe, I would have thought. Come here, do well, and we'll help you move on. And we've done that time and time again with guys. Josh Roach came back. Different guys have gone away. Darcy Murphy. Boys came, went, came back. Classic one. Jason Ruff. Different guys. Came, went. Came sometimes to come back. Sometimes to go on to bigger and better things. Never come back. Sometimes they come back here and retire. Sometimes you never see them again. And
is there bigger, better things?
Not really. You know what I mean by that. In the pantheon of
other things,
maybe of things. to us, we're the one-stop biggest shop in the world. But we've also seen that careers are short, so you wish these guys all the best when they come here. Give it all I want from a Belfast Giant is when they come here to just give it their all, enjoy my city, enjoy representing my city, give it their all, and leave with nothing but good things to say about it.
I'm just thinking of Bobby Robbins, but bigger and better things. Then
first and only, I don't know whether he's certainly the only Belfast Giant. I don't know how many have came to the EIHL and gone on to the NHL, but Bobby Robbins is certainly the only Belfast Giant who've done so far.
Belfast and but then you can always talk about the guys who played for in the Friendship Four on Belfast Ice and then go on, and of course then you look at Mr. Boucher's jumper and you see that the Boston Bruins have skated on that ice themselves. Sorry, Stevie, you're going to say something there.
Just on that note, that sort of just shows a little bit again the importance of the Friendship Four. Because like Carsen was sort of saying there, people maybe don't know about the AHL, don't know about Belfast, don't know about some of these opportunities in Europe. If you're a college player and you come over and you play in the Friendship Four, that's just opening your eyes. Not everybody that's going to, I mean, what percentage of Friendship Four players go on to the NHL? I know we had one just the other year there, but made his debut this season. But you know what? At least then they'll be like, you know what? There's a really nice arena over here. There's really a good level of hockey. There's a good town support and everything. So again, Friendship Four as that advert for hopefully mostly Belfast, but possibly also just the Elite League and Europe as a whole. It could be a great thing for those young college players.
We had Friendship Four players visiting.
As someone who keeps a database on it, like the number of players that Belfast have picked up, maybe about 10 to a dozen across the Elite League, probably 30 plus now. Have played in the Friendship Four and ended up in the IHL. But and in terms of the number that have actually gone on to the NHL is quite staggering actually as well. So it has pedigree. Some of these teams, especially the likes of the Boston Universities and stuff that came the other year, they have something like 14 draft picks in their roster. So they're well stacked rosters. But it's a great opportunity, as you say, Stevie, there to showcase first and foremost Belfast. And then those guys are going back to North America with the thought of the Elite League in their mind, and I could go and play in that building. And it is a very impressive building to play in. I think we're lucky that way.
And like I say, we've had, even just this week, we've had former Friendship Four players coming into the building, and the likes of Doherty, Mitch Fossier, guys who had played previously in the Friendship Four and now back with us, having joined other teams. You see, we've seen it for the last number of years. NCAA guys who've obviously gained the fact that they've come to the UK. They went into the SSE arena and they realised actually there's a decent league here. Yeah. Anyway, let's crack on here, boys. Player of the month was handed out at the weekend after the game against the Storm. The winner was number 7, Reid Irwin. It was quite a tight one, and it was two. Do you know what? I'm going to have to apologise to Laura Small. I didn't write their names down, but I think the great grandchildren or great grandnephews of Jim Gillespie who were handing that out. My apologies, Laura Small, who did tell me who they were and I didn't write it down. Reid Irwin gets it on a bit of a tight one with regards to the votes for the player of the month. He is December's player of the month. Mr. Boucher, what do you think of that?
Yeah, fair play. I think he probably put himself over the top with that one in that last week because he did 3 points on Boxing Day and then he the goal on the 31st, I think it was, that last week of December. So yeah, again, another young player, first full pro season. I was impressed with him when he first came in. I think he looks a little bit more seasoned than he actually is, which is a compliment because he looks very good on the ice. He's got that partnership going with Bo Hansen, and I think arguably probably most solid defensive pairing at the moment. So great to see him getting his flowers for a good month. But as I say, overall, I think he's had a good first season.
Davy, your thoughts, Reid Irwin?
Yeah, very close vote. There's a big paper between them all. There's very, very close vote. And interesting, I was thinking about this when I was driving along the day. For a month and when so many goals were scored, you've got the goalie, you've got 2 D-men, and obviously probably the outstanding forward of the group in the month. But can't argue with it. A big fan of Reid Irwin's. I think he's done really well since he came in. Probably came in as possibly one of the lower ranked in terms of when you're writing these up on a whiteboard before the start of the season. Wouldn't have expected him to have been so dependable so steady, dovetails so well with Bo Hansen. Critical thinkers on the game. Bo and Reid are always talking, constantly come off a shift, and they'll microanalyze what they've just done and be ready for the next shift. Really, really good hockey IQ, the two of them, and congratulations on the biggest prize in sport, Reid Irwin, Player of the Month for December.
I've got Laura, who sent me the.
Yes, on the left is Kane Gillespie, and on the right, as you're looking at it, so the short one is Kane Gillespie. The big guy is Francis Nord, and they are Jim's. What's your fingers? Sorry, they are Jim's great nephews.
Did you get that?
Loves a voice memo, or Laura.
Loves a voice. Thanks, Laura. Kane and Francis, they're the great nephews of Jim Gillespie. Big thanks to them for handing out the biggest prize in sport, which is, of course, the View from the Bridge Player of the Month award. Congratulations to Reid Irwin for winning it for December. Right, a couple of things just to sort of think. I want to talk about Belfast Giants momentum, Davy, coming into this. Yeah, I know you love just like this sort of bit to wind it all up, but you look at what's happened across this weekend with regards to the other teams dropping points. Sheffield had a terrible week. The terrible weekend in Scotland, losing to the Five Flyers, losing to Glasgow Clan, getting that win over the Dundee Stars, but they're in a bit of a bind at the minute. Derek Gentile, who left them, basically walked out. Went to Atlanta Gladiators, where Matt Ginn is the congratulations to Matt Ginn and being voted in as an All-Star coach for the AHL All-Star or Coast All-Stars. But he went the announced as an Atlanta Gladiator, and then within a matter of days he's gone back to U Sports. So that's a loss for the Sheffield Steelers. They're in a bind. We've beaten the Nottingham Panthers. The Cardiff Devils got beat this weekend as well. The Giants have the momentum going into this weekend, Davy.
You're not going to draw me on this.
How important is it to have that momentum?
Look, it's always important. I think one of the biggest importance of this weekend is that these games are at home. We've obviously went to Sheffield earlier in the season, and it was difficult. It was a difficult time for us, but I think we'll have to take, as you're right in what you're saying, Paddy, we take the momentum from the last weekend, or even right through December for me, has been good. But the big win against the Panthers, another solid win against the Manchester Storm. Beware the wounded animal that the Steelers will be. This game has to be. It's just Jeff Mason often talks up about next man mentality, next game, next shift. We just have to be prepared to give all the cliches like we did at the start of the show. Be prepared to start on time, play for 60 minutes, foot in the throat if you get the opportunity, get those ozone shifts, play smart, don't take penalties, do all the stuff right. We can just pull out. It's like a cliche book here, but that's what you got to do to win this league. These are massive games.
I'm not going to get into it.
So ask Stevie.
I know you hit this part of the show, and it all comes down to just sort of repetitive of we want to play well, we want to play. I'm trying to like steer away from that sort of element of it and ask about because we're looking across the league. You just said we're looking across the league, and obviously this is a very tight league season. I'll come to you just a second, Stevie. But it's like this is a very tight league. And you can see the fact that we looked at what happened at the weekend. We're looking at us beating the Nottingham Panthers, who have been top of the tree for quite a few weeks now. And we've went from 4th to 3rd to 2nd. We're now 3 points behind them. They're playing the Continental Cup this week, so therefore they won't be taking part in Elite League competition. Sheffield are hurting at the minute, and they will want to get back. They got their win over Dundee. They absolutely battered Dundee as a bit of a response to the fact they'd lost to Glasgow and to Fife. But Aaron Fox is under pressure here, but the Giants again are pushing forward.
Yeah, well, it's up to us to keep that pressure on. We'll have a good week of practice. You've said it, Paddy. Take the good feeling and go in with a level of confidence. That's as far as we go with it. Allow the confidence to build within you. Allow the knowledge that you can beat these teams, that you've just had the number one team in the country into you, and you've demolished them. Allow that confidence to build through your practice week. Let people rest, get them recuperated and ready to go on Friday. But it's another game of hockey, and honestly, I don't think Adam will be too focused on what their previous results were. He'll have them analysed, and the details will be there, prepared for Sheffield Friday night. We'll not even be worrying about it's Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday.
Friday, Saturday.
So we'll just be prepared for Friday night. Not even be looking at Saturday. I know says I don't know what's happened. It says haven't seen him since Christmas. But he'd be saying the same. You just worry about your next game. You worry about your next shift. And yes, the momentum is building nicely. And all that I would say is feed off that confidence.
How much pressure is Aaron Fox under, Stevie?
From who? From the fans? From the board? From the club?
From just in general, like given the fact that the Sheffield Steelers and their fan base, and no doubt that their leadership group, their ownership group, will expect the Sheffield Steelers to be battling for a league title. Now, arguably, you look at this weekend, should the Belfast Giants, and should this go to form, but should the Belfast Giants take the 2 wins this weekend, the gap between the Belfast and Sheffield just grows, and Sheffield are in a real struggle.
They are, and I mean, yes, Aaron Fox will be under some amount of pressure, but I think as Davey said earlier, we're just about halfway through the season. There's still quite a lot of hockey left to be played, and I do think the Steelers have it within them to go on a bit of a run, just like the Giants do, just like the Panthers do. I mean, come the end of the season, if they really do drop off here and the Giants and Panthers tear away and maybe the Devils overtake the Steelers, yes, Fox will be under pressure. But right now, yeah, that makes this weekend quite big, actually. You're right. 2-point lead right now that the Giants have, 2 wins for them, and they're going to be 6 points ahead, and they'll still have 2 games in hand. So it does make it hard for Steelers. But as Davey said, there's nothing more dangerous than a wounded animal, and Steelers are going to be coming out fighting. Giants need to just do what they did at the weekend. Play against 2 very good teams, but play 2 full 60s. And the good thing I think this week is we've no midweek game this week. Everybody should be healthy. Everybody should be rested. We're at home. Everybody's got a full week here of prep. No travel. It should be all lined up for the Giants to hopefully continue on the way they've been playing.
If we see the Belfast Giants perform as they did on Saturday against the Nottingham Panthers, I don't think there's a team in this league that could live with us, given that performance. And a great performance against the Manchester Storm the next night. But I think that performance against the Nottingham Panthers on Saturday shows exactly the peak of what this team can perform at and what level they can perform at, certainly at home. And I'd like to see that. The game Friday and on Saturday, 7 p.m. at the SSE Arena. These will be big draws. If you don't have a ticket, get a ticket now, because these are going to be absolute blockbusters when the Sheffield Steelers are in town. Not just the fact that it's a recognizable name for the casual fan to come and watch, but those that are in the know, these are always big games. Get yourself a ticket, and if not, you'll no doubt hear from the likes of Stevie and Marty and Michael Owen and Michael Owens and stuff on Belfast Giants TV. I'm going to start any other business, Davey. I'm going to pull up a video that I've downloaded, which I don't know if there's any sound in this, but I'll take the sound out. Can we just pay a little bit of a tribute to friend of the show, Neil Francis? His number has been retired by the Cardiff Devils. Go on, you love this man. Give us a good.
I do. I don't think it's any secret how fond I am of Franny. He's been very, very good to us over very many years on A View from the Bridge. That aside, if there's a success for the Cardiff Devils, I try to make sure I'm the first one to text him. If Belfast Giants have success, he's either the first one. If it's been versus us, he'll be the first one to shake my hand, or he'll be the first one to send a text of congratulations. Very magnanimous. Loves winning and is happy for his friends when they win. And he's become a good friend. He's like you and me. He's a dad. Like Stevie, he's a dad. He's got a girls in his life, and he loves Cardiff. He's done so much for it. He's been in every rink. He was back in the Welsh National Ice Centre we used to go to. It's now John Lewis. He was in the big blue tent, and now in the new arena, and he's been there, done every job that you can think of.
Jackie Moon, he's the Jackie Moon of the. He's
Jackie Moon, along with Killer, the Jackie Moon. But congratulations! I sent him a message on the day of congratulations from ourselves on the podcast. He's one of those, as Neil Russell would say, one of the true. And Neil Russell's getting some amount of mentions tonight.
He's got some love tonight.
One of the true gents of British hockey, and we're very fortunate to have him in our corner. He's a good lad.
I've so much fondness for Franny. He is, like you say, he's been a player, he's been a coach. He's been assistant coach. He was the coach when Brodie DuPont went. He was briefly the coach of the Cardiff Devils. He's the director of hockey operations. He's just an all-round good guy. Very few people on the show get called friend of the show. It's a moniker that's not handed around simply. But Neil Francis is certainly friend of the show when it comes to A View from the Bridge. Steve, anything to say?
No, you guys both took the words out of my mouth. He's done every job. Like, he could be head coach, but he'd still be out driving the Zamboni if he could, probably. He's just a club man and just wants to do everything he can to help the club. So fair play. I think he's even been behind the mic and all as well. So fair play. I mean, we got to see number 47 lifted up in our arena. It's great to see the Elite League honoring these guys who've just given so much back to their cities and to their teams. So yeah, congratulations to him.
A guy who's a local man who's given so much to his team. Can listen, no man deserves it more than Franny. So congratulations, mate, on having that number retired. Any other business, boys?
Stevie, you anything?
I don't have anything. No.
I'll bring that photograph up for you, Davey.
I close it out then, Paddy. I've got my cancer hat on. We're going to take it off there as we'll pay tribute to someone. If you can bring that up. Anyone that has been a Giants fan for any length of time will know Jordan Wilson, especially if they have a Twitter account. He's phenomenally, he'd be like Paddy, one of the kings of Twitter. Jordan's grandfather passed away just a couple of days ago, Jim Wilson. Now, I can pay tribute to Jim because they were my granny's next door neighbours. Jim, phenomenal man. 5 and Winnie Park was my second home. They lived in number 7. So for my whole life, Jim was a staple next door to Granny's house. Whenever my granda passed away and I moved away to Bristol, Jim took the Belfast Telegraph to my granny every single day. Well, not every day because they only did it Monday to Saturday, but every day of the week he'd have been in checking on her, and she had a fall once. Remember, Jim sorted that all out. Jim and Shirley, absolutely phenomenal neighbours. I maybe kicked the ball into their garden 10,000 times, and it was never met with anything but "there's your ball back, son." I think that part growing up, and Dennis McGee and the Boyces and the Honsdales and the Vances and the Keenans and the Irwins and the Henrys and obviously the Wilsons, a stalwart family in that little cul-de-sac in Dundonald. Jim will be incredibly missed by the family. He'll be incredibly missed in that street. I remember my granny passed away during COVID times, and we were allowed, I think, I'm going to say 12 to 15 or so in the church. And Jim and Shirley were the only non-family members that were invited along and were gracious enough to come to the wedding. But really, they were family. You get a wee bit emotional now thinking about it. But Jim's going to be buried on Saturday. A life well lived, a lovely man from a lovely family. That's some picture Jordan sent, but that was Jim, pink bow tie and a stripy suit. I'm sure Shirley picked that, but to Shirley, to Mark, to Darren, to Neil, and the rest of the family circle would pass on our condolences. I don't know how much Jim was in the hockey, maybe just Jordan telling about it, but for me, Jim was a Belfast Giant.